Hello, this is Wmpyr. Originally, I wanted to make a martial arts tutorial video for you guys, but it's real late, or should I say early in the morning now. So yeah, I just ran out of time, and this happens to me a lot. So anyway, instead, I decided to make a video talking about an important matter. I think it's about your perception, right? And after all, the mind is the most important weapon. So I feel like this can be very, very useful, and I think it's kind of necessary in the martial arts community. Is my statement of I feel like skill is extremely overrated. Why do I feel like I can say this? I think that there are a lot of people out there that still believe that a 60-year-old grandmaster of some martial arts style can defeat a young buck in his prime, who's a warrior, who's a fighter, and in our minds we fantasize about this, and we want to believe that the 60-year-old grandmaster with this, uh, white beard can defeat this young stud warrior, right? And that's because we believe that skill can just cause miracles. And I'm telling you that that is the wrong perception to have. In reality, this grandmaster is not useless. He cannot do that, I believe. I'm telling you, my perception is that in reality, the grandmaster would lose if they fought. He's not going to be Yoda, and he's not going to be doing these crazy flips and stuff. That's not what's going to happen in real life. But the way that he is useful is that with his experience and knowledge is that he can command armies. He can command, he can help train, he can overlook. He's management, essentially. He is the general. He's the person mapping out stuff, and doing that kind of stuff. That's the position he should be in, not trying to fight, go toe to toe with a young buck or like an infantry guy. You know what I mean? So the young dudes, they're in their primes, they're infantry, they're special forces, they're the guys, raiding in to the village or whatnot. That's not what this dude does. So that's the difference in my opinion. So anyway, um, the question that I want to ask you guys, right? That being said, is that I feel that skill is overrated. I don't think that I'm not, don't get me wrong, I'm not saying that skill is useless. I'm just saying it's overrated. People's perception of skill is that they think that it creates miracles. In some ways it does, but it's few and far between, and it's very, very difficult to just rely on skill to magically defeat someone. That I'm saying that doesn't happen, right? So the question that I want to ask you guys is, okay, let's put me, and I constantly like to do this. It's easy to make examples out of other people and criticize people, so I throw myself in there a lot of times. So I'll put myself in this example. Me, Wmpyr versus Mayweather, right? Obviously, in a boxing match, it's no contest. I'm going to get destroyed. It won't even be like Conor McGregor. I won't even do not even a tenth, not even 1% as good as Conor McGregor. I'm just telling you right now. So, Mayweather versus me, but here's the twist. We both have knives, right? I doubt that Mayweather is familiar, as comfortable, and as skilled with knives as I am. I come from the Filipino martial arts, and personally, my specialty, yes, I use sticks, train with the machete and do empty hand stuff too, but my favorite is the knife in Filipino martial arts. And that is my specialty. So, and me being, having trained in Filipino martial arts for over 20 years, and then I've also taught it and, whatnot, being involved with the Filipino martial arts, the skill level here between Mayweather and I regarding the knife should be, bam, it should be massively different, right? I should have a huge advantage there, okay? Who's going to win that bout? And I kind of feel like people are going to be like, well, Wmpyr, you have the advantage. And if you don't win, you would be a disgrace to Filipino martial arts. And this is what I think. I think, no, that it would be extremely difficult for me to defeat Mayweather in this situation, even though I would definitely be more comfortable with the knife, even though I have strategies that I've, time and time again tested out in sparring with students, taught over and over, like I know like the back of my hand, and I got moves here with the knife and stuff. But, once again, skill is overrated, and a good example I think I could give you guys is let's take a look at UFC 3. Royce Gracie versus Chemo. Royce Gracie, BJJ, Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu, is in his DNA, right? And he's been doing it since he was a baby. Versus Chemo. How much grappling background could Chemo have compared to Royce Gracie? And it's not just grappling, it's submission grappling. It's not just submission grappling, but it's also, at that time, NHB grappling, right? Vale Tudo. So if you put all that together, the knowledge, the experience, the technique, the skill, the strategy, Royce is way above Chemo. But if you watch that match, it was a very difficult match for Royce, obviously also for Chemo. It was kind of a close match. And in fact, after the match, Royce couldn't continue. So if you look at that, we can definitely agree that it was a difficult match for Royce. In fact, at that time, it was the hardest match that Royce had been through. Okay, so myself versus Mayweather, I don't see why it would be any different. My skill level should be way above Mayweather in regards to the knife. But because Mayweather's physicality, his athleticism is much higher than mine, just like Chemo was physically much superior to Royce in height, weight, size, strength, power, all that, explosiveness and whatnot, athleticism, So same here. I feel like Mayweather, although he's not taller, I don't think, than I am, or the weight may not be that different, just athleticism, we're not in the same league. So because of that, I think it would be a very, very difficult match. In fact, I don't know if I could win. And I don't feel any shame in saying that. I feel like that's actually very realistic perception that I have there. And if I did fight him, that's going to help me out, because I'm not going to go in there with the wrong expectations or the wrong idea or the wrong strategy in that sense. So I think that's actually going to benefit me, So yeah, this is just something that I think is very, very important. Look, I've been a martial artist here in Texas. So in Texas, we have the reputation of everything is larger in Texas, So all the martial arts schools that I've been to and trained in as I was training in martial arts throughout the years, I was almost always the smallest person in class, if not on the smaller side, 100%. So I didn't have a choice. I had to be the skill guy, because what else do I have? I don't have the power to match with someone that's 200-pound plus. So I had to be the skill and strategy guy. And so that being said, I feel like in a way I'm qualified to say that skill is overrated. I remember when I was training at the Carlos Machado Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu School up in Dallas, a dude came in, and this guy, he was a bouncer, and I was like, why are you here? And he said the guy that owned the club that he bounced at, that guy was like, you're my number one bouncer, and I want you to become better. So I'm going to pay for your training. Go train at this BJJ school and, become better, learn some skills. So that's what happened. And so this guy came in. He was a number one bouncer at that club. And, he had no martial arts experience. He had no BJJ experience. So I was pretty much like, I'm going to mop the floor with this guy. Well, he came in and he gave it his all. You know, he was there not so much to learn, but more so to test himself out. And yeah, we had a match from hell. And I could not submit the guy. And in fact, I was trying to submit him fast, you know, like in seconds, because I was like, dude, he doesn't know anything. Yeah, he's bigger and stronger than me, but the skill level is so massively different that I could destroy this guy, you know. And I just found myself, before I knew it, I was like in the mount going, everything I've tried didn't work. I'm out of breath. I'm tired. What do I do? Oh my gosh, this is looking really bad for me. And he might flip me over at any second. And then I'm going to be in the guard. And I don't want to be in the guard with this guy, you know? So it was literal hell. And so that's another example I could tell you where skill was overrated. And you might say, well, that's because it's you know, you're not that good at BJJ or whatever. Fine, okay. Well, another example I could give you is then let's talk about in the women's division, the best, one of, if not one of the best Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu competitors, Mackenzie Dern. In her MMA debut, she fought against someone who was a MMA fighter, but that other girl's specialty was kickboxing. So she was basically a Muay Thai fighter who could do MMA. So the difference in submission grappling level, bam, huge difference, right? We're talking about like one of the world's best ever versus, you know, someone who just does MMA, right? Huge, huge difference. They fought, and Mackenzie Dern absolutely dominates, gets all the good positions and everything, puts herself in many positions where she could get submissions. She's going for it. She's pretty much doing what I tried to do, which was just trying to submit her opponent as fast as possible. None of it was happening. None of it. So she ended up she had to change her strategy, which was very smart of her, and she did. She was just on top and she was like, okay, I'm just going to do a beat down. Beat her down, and then finally got the submission. She had to do this, you know, someone who is, the skill level was this different, and she still had to resort to, I'm going to, you know, tire this person out, I'm going to beat this person down, and then I'm going to get the submission. So that's where I'm telling you, skill is overrated. So I'm not saying it's useless. Like I said, in my case, I had to 100% rely on it. To this day, I rely on it. I need it. But I'm just saying that a lot of people's perceptions is not right with skill. So just something to think about. So thank you for watching, and take care, folks.